Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another episode of 6 Film Runs, where I pick what I think is the best 6 film run of a director, consecutive films. But again, the whole point of this series is for me to read your 6 film runs of a director. And today, it's the best thing to come out of Canada since Rush, David Cronenberg. But where to pick a 6 film run? His early catalogue, as influential as those films are, Shivers and Rabid, perhaps not his strongest of the body of work. His later films, perhaps a little bit uneven. Obviously his latest film, Crimes of the Future, is one of the best films of the last 25 years. No hyperbole there. So, for the 6 in a row for Cronenberg, I'm going to start in 1979 and then reach a crescendo in 1988 for arguably his best film, or in the conversation for his best film. So I'm going to start in 1979 with one of his underappreciated films, but it is still excellent, and that is The Brood, with Oliver Reed in one of his best performances. This is Cronenberg's film about divorce, but being Cronenberg, it does manifest into something a little different and something a little bit more visceral. Again, Cronenberg really knows how to make people uncomfortable about things, and The Brood is no different. A husband feels he's losing his wife to a strange doctor with strange practices, and how to deal with anger issues that may manifest into something a little bit more physical. As always with Cronenberg, his films are full of ideas. You know, the early films, perhaps due to budget restrictions, acting limitations, sometimes his ideas aren't fully realised. But The Brood, again, one of his underrated films, it's still challenging and kind of difficult to watch even now. Next, one of his big hits, Scanners. Even though you could argue there's something lacking about the central performance, this obviously has one of Cronenberg's signature moments, but it's got Patrick McGoohan, who's absolutely fantastic, and again, it's the ideas, drugs changing humanity, technology, it's all there. And next, one of his seminal works, Videodrome, with James Woods and Deborah Harry. Again, Cronenberg, ahead of his time most of the time, and therefore kind of underappreciated at the time. Videodrome, foreseeing television, reality, TV, inserting things into ourselves. Apple hasn't got there quite yet, but I'm sure they will. Again, you can say Cronenberg sometimes struggles with endings, but Videodrome, made in 1983, has a fantastic 70s ending. Again, the first time he had a really good actor, no offence to anybody else in his earlier films, but James Woods gives one of his signature performances as a sleazy TV producer looking for the next sensational thing, pushing the envelope. So just like the characters in Crash, just like the characters in Crimes of the Future, pushing the envelope, just like characters in a couple of films that I'll be mentioning quite soon. So that's 1983's Videodrome. And then 1983, The Dead Zone. Back when filmmakers made 2 films a year. Or, as we know, Takashi Miike, 6 films a year. Yes, I'm biased because it's one of Christopher Walken's finest performances. Again, really underrated. One of the best Stephen King adaptations. And this was Cronenberg kind of showing I can do a kind of straightforward chiller. Martin Sheen's fantastic as a future president, even though perhaps a little bit during the scenery, but certainly not. And Walken is just wonderful as a man who has been cheated by fate and is given a quote unquote gift. The ice is going to break. And then 1986, The Fly, another one of his huge hits, produced by Mel Brooks. It's just wonderful. Again, not my favourite Cronenberg, perhaps just because it's his mainstream hit. But again, the disease, science, pushing the envelope, signature Jeff Goldblum performance, fantastic special effects, and just a wonderful film. And then we end the 6-film run with arguably his best film, one of my favourites, 1988's Dead Ringers. Jeremy Irons' signature role. Again, it's funny because I think acting performances in Cronenberg films kind of get overlooked with everything else. But I have kind of mentioned signature performances by people in a few of these films. And that's what Cronenberg gives you. He challenges actors, and they usually respond with superlative performances, as does Jeremy Irons and his twin brother Jeff Irons. Jeff Irons hasn't worked as much as Jeremy Irons, which is a shame because they are both fantastic actors. And Genevieve Bujold in the middle. Again, because of the subject matter about twin gynecologists, it's Cronenberg kind of tweaking people's uncomfortability gene. But it's just an elegant film, a wonderful film, harrowing, and again with a nice, upbeat, happy, family-friendly ending. So thanks very much for watching. That's my Cronenberg 6-film run. What is your Cronenberg 6-film run? Or do you think he even has a 6-film run? Or maybe you think he's got a 10-film run. So thanks very much for watching. I'll be interested to see the comments below. This is Solitude Ronan from Solitude Ronan Films, saying farewell.